Hello everyone and welcome to this episode number 19 of the CGVinny Coffee Break. I'm super glad to be here. For people who don't know me, I'm Vincent from the Adobe Substance 3D team. And today, I'm back from GDC, which was last week. So the jet lag is over for me. I'm good right now. It was a bit tough on Tuesday for my first live stream in French, but today everything is fine. As I was at GDC, we made Substance Days, and as always, we announced lots of stuff. And today, what I'm going to make is to present you, to make a recap of everything that we present during Substance Days at GDC. This is always a great event, GDC, because we met lots of people, good friends, old friends. Also, we see what the industry is doing. We have done also portfolio reviews of students. It was great. So, let's not waste some time. As always, I have the chat just here on my right. So if you have any question, you can say hi, or also say where you are watching from. I'm always interested. But feel free to ask. That's important. So let's share my screen. So Substance Days, this was actually the biggest Substance Days ever. We had some great invitees from different studios like the Baldur's Gate team, Baldur's Gate 3 team. We had Alan Wake 2, and also we had the Prince of Persia. So it was great. They shared lots of good production tips, how they work with Substance 3D. And I think it was more than 2,000 people, so that was insane. We had a queue that I posted on my Instagram account to show of the waiting line was crazy. Hopefully we were able to make everyone enter almost, but that was insane. So what did we do? So let me share here. Okay, so first we made a recap, a state of Substance 3D, because Substance 3D is here was algorithmic before, and if we count all these years, it's 20 years since algorithmic was founded. So Substance 3D right now is more than 20 years because it was in 2023, if I'm not wrong. And to celebrate that, Jeremy Noguet, who was on the stage, just found some old pictures. So what you see right now is the first team of algorithmic. Everyone in the room, I think we see Benjamin Maréchal and Christophe Soum, Cyril Damez, and some others. What's crazy, it was at this time in just a university room, if I'm not wrong. That was crazy, that was another time. And if we look some years later, this has been taken in 2019, like a few months after we joined Adobe, and we made what we call a global gathering where everyone, gathers in actually in my city in Barcelona, where I am. So I am you can see me here in the front. I can put my face here do something like that, for example. I'm going to put this so we see where the PowerPoint comes from. And it was great. And now we are more than 300 people working hard to make great tools, great services, and this is great to work with all these persons who are really passionate about what they do. So still working great and great ambience. And what we can say as well is that Substance 3D Painter now has 10 years. It has been presented firstly in 2013, if I'm not wrong, but it was released in 2014. And once again, Jeremy found some interesting stuff. This is one of the first working prototype of the particle painting, which made a lot of buzz when it was presented to the world, because this was completely new, a new way to paint, and it was really in the, let's say, the DNA of algorithmic, to try to make things procedurally in a way that the artist guides the intention, and the tool helps reaching this intention. So that was quite great. And by the way, it was made, this prototype, with the technology of particles, with the technology of popcorn FX, which is a company which still exists and which makes a great tool to make particle effects, special effects in general. And we use this particle stuff in another way. For us, it was to paint on our model. But this is based on that. This is one of the first, if not the first, mock-up of the UI of what could Substance Painter look like. It was made once again by Jeremy, if I'm not wrong. And as you can see, well, almost all the principal elements are there or were there. So even today, we are not that far from here. Of course, it has evolved a lot. We added some stuff, but still, if we look closely, even if we added many stuff, many features, there was one that was thought at this time, and it was to add a history for the brush strokes, which is cool. Technically, it's feasible because we store all these brush strokes. But I would say, yeah, right now it's more user experience, user interface issue. How do we present that? Because you can do like 10,000 brushstrokes in a project, so it may be a bit too big. But still, that's something that we may do one day. Who knows? That's interesting. And this was the first trailer of the launch in 2014. So pretty cool, and yeah, it worked well. It was the beginning of PBR as well. So Painter came at the right time, and well, so now you know it's the leading application in the market to paint the materials on 3D assets. So super proud of that. 10 years and still innovating at every release. And talking about that. Yeah, the community and Substance 3D in general will remind everyone that it's still growing fast and it's still and it's super strong. For example, one of a cool metric is like every hour on ArtStation, more than 100 artworks tagged with Substance 3D product are posted. So that's crazy, every hour. And also, since we joined Adobe in 2019, more than 140 releases we made for all our product, more than 500 features, so that's kind of insane. And we are still growing as a team, so we are hiring. I'll try to share the link in the comments or in the description after the live stream. Mostly right now software engineers, but also we hire at any position, sometimes artists as well to complete the art dev team. I think I should do something also, art dev team presentation one day to explain what we do. Well, we do this, for example, but we do many other things. Now, let's speak a bit about the Substance 3D ecosystem. And mostly, first, what are for the full ecosystem, what we are looking at and looking for. First of all, you may know that we have embraced the USD format and also the Alliance for OpenUSD, which is an alliance which the initiative has been launched by Pixar to try to standardize and around the USD format or for any 3D data sharing. I won't say that data object because it's not it's more than that. USD is really a format which is great, created by Pixar. They made it open source, and it allows to share 3D data. It can be a mesh, an animation. It can contain the material animation. It can contain. It's like a container for 3D elements, 3D scenes that can contain everything that you need. And the greatness of this alliance, which is open, of course, to any actors who wants to be in, is to try to formalize stuff to make sure we are on the same page and not everyone is taking USD and making its own version just for them, which is not compatible with the rest, for example. This way, we are making sure that we build strong interoperability between tools, which is great. So this is, of course, for, as I say, for 3D data, let's say, transportation. And on our side, we also built with in collaboration with Autodesk and the Academy Software Foundation and many more, the Open PBR. So that's the same spirit, but around material and surfacing, how we build norms to try to get the same usage of PBR materials, for example. Because once again, we are at the point where sometimes what we want is to make a material, let's say in Substance Designer, and make sure it will look the same, whether it's within Substance Painter, Maya, Max, Blender, etc. And for this, of course, we can use this, but sometimes it could happen that there is some offsets in the interpretation, and that's exactly what OpenPBR is made for, to make sure that we read and interpret the data, the material data, the same way. So once again, it's open source. We made this under the Academy Software Foundation, if I'm not wrong, and we already have some contributor like Blender, Epic, etc. Once again, the idea is really to help, because if not, let's say 3D can be complex, and it's important not to make it more complex than it is, because and this will help, especially for, once again, interoperability. And that's why all of this stuff are open source, because we want everyone to, we don't want anyone to be the master of it. Everyone has to contribute and feel the same. Also, let's make a slide about generative AI and Firefly. This is something that now is almost a feature, which is a bit sad in a way, but on our side, it's a good thing. Because we want to, generative AI offers lots of possibilities. It does many things. It goes in many directions as well. And but one of the points before to talk about what you can generate with AI is where the data to generate our model, which is Adobe Firefly, comes from. And this is pretty important, and I consider this now as a feature of Adobe Firefly, because we have seen so much stuff around this about questioning some models to know where the data comes from. Well, on our side, we make it clear. Everything is trained on licensed content that we own, or that like Adobe stock, or images in public domain, which doesn't have any copyright anymore. So this way you are sure that if you use it, you are commercially safe. You won't have any bad buzz. You know that all the content that has been used is clean, and this is pretty important. It's created to offer a new way to ideate, create, communicate. Yes, I'm going to show some example, but we really want to use it as a complement of your toolset, a new way to create content and to support your pipeline. If you are a Creative Cloud user, we don't use the content you are storing, for example, on your Adobe Cloud. It's not trained on that at all, and we have no plan to do this. And also, we have created a few years ago, even before AI was so the buzzword, we created what we call the Content Authenticity Initiative, which is exactly made to be able to take one of your creation and to tag it, so it's not used anywhere without noticing. This is a way to protect your content, and also to know when you see, for example, a content, what it is made of. And this is so before that, it's funny because last year it was at a conference, and before AI and this data training topic. It was important, but it really took sense, and that's it's the user who told them that's great that you do that, because I don't want my art to be used without my consent, which is completely fair. Well, this is a technology which is made for that. So this is a bit a slide which is sad and good at the same time. In my opinion, it's good for us as Adobe at Adobe, because it shows that we care. And it's sad because we have to show it, because it should be the standards everywhere to every kind of AI model. But sadly, we have seen all the news. Some others let's say they have a hard time to justify where they took the data to train their model. So at Adobe, at least you are sure that it's clean. Once again, if you have questions, I have the chat on my right, so don't hesitate. I'm going to move my face so we can read. Let's put that here. Also, we are building a new platform for the future. A nice title. Thanks, Jeremy. Based in two stuff. As we said, we are supporting USD really strongly, not only supporting the format to exchange, but also to build our own structure to work on. So this is what we are working at. So it will be transparent for you in a way, because it will be the architecture of the software we do have, but it will allow many things. For example, it will be really modular, lightweight. Let's say, why not? Yes. But it's more that it's modular and extendable. Modular, which means that we will be able to make some connections between the software in an easier way. Also, it will be multi-platform, so made to work on Mac OS, Linux, etc. And also, it will support the custom renderer via Hydra delegates. So Hydra delegates, it's just a word to say that it's like an entry point within a USD scene or scene, for example, which allows, if we want, to implement other renderers, or on the contrary, maybe to take our renderer and use it somewhere else. So once again, it's a bit technical, but it shows that sometimes the work, it's not only releasing new features, it's great, and of course we do it, but it's also making sure that the architecture we built, it will be future-proof, and it will bring a lot. Especially we'll be able to make some live links between some applications, for example. I don't know what we will do with it, but at least we'll be able to decide to do this. And on another side, we're working really hard for quite some time right now on a new rendering engine. As you may know, we have some right now. We have one for any of our application. Some of them are similar, but what we want to build is an engine which will be the same everywhere. So we'll have this engine which is super fast. We have seen some example already, and we want it to be a hybrid between rasterizing. Rasterizing means like in video games, for example, and path tracing, which is ray tracing, which means you really simulate how the light is going to propagate into a scene, and it means way higher quality. So what we want is not to choose and make both. If you compare to something that exists right now, a good example is, for example, EV with cycles in Blender. Even if they are two separate renderers, they are made to work together. What we will do is one that makes the two options. So you can choose depending on if you either need, for example, flexibility and reactivity, or if you need your final render. We want you to be able to make both with the same render. Once again, multi-platform, obviously built for speed and interactivity. I don't even know why we say it. We won't make it slow for sure. And yes, I saw the result of the benchmark so far, and it will be super fast and made to be shared across all Adobe apps. Of course, Substance 3D, but for example, we see that now if you are in motion design, After Effects supports 3D right now, 3D objects. So one of the points as well is to be able to port this in After Effects if everything goes well. Because once again, we will gain first to gather the development of it, and secondly, we will have the same exact visual between all applications. So that would be great. Hello, so sorry, I'm saying hi, but Koa Do Nguyen Dang. I don't know if I say it well, but I tried and I say hi, so that's what counts. Let's continue. So this was a bit the architectural part. Also, we talk about Firefly to make sure that it's clear our position between the data training and where the data comes from. Once again, I think it's important to precise it. In another one, maybe we shouldn't have to do that, but in the world we are today, we want to make it clear. Another thing about the ecosystem is obviously we want to make sure Substance 3D data, material in that case, work everywhere. And you know that we have a lot of integration whether native integration or via a plugin, for example, or add-on for Blender. And we spend a lot of time with our partners. I don't say competitors, because once again, 3D for me, it's more question of, yeah, there is competition, of course, but it's more partners, because I don't know anyone who is using everything from one company, for example. So there is a bit of, sometimes it will be start in ZBrush, go to Sampler, to go to then Unreal or Maya or Max. So we are more partners at the end. So, and we want to make sure that if we make a substance material, that it will work great anywhere, not only visually, but only in the user experience. So recently, for example, we remade the C4D integration, which is native with Maxent. For example, we had a super good collaboration with them, and we remake it. So right now, it's the integration is native and super smooth for any C4D user. We also updated the Blender plugin. So I won't detail all the everything, but basically the UI is way more integrated and it's way more powerful than before. Once again, Blender is super important for us. I think it's our #1 community for Substance users. So definitely that's something we care about. We're also user of it. So we make sure that to keep it updated. Now it works with the 4.x version, so you can install it without any problem. Oops. Unreal, Unity, new update as well. We improved the overall performance, especially in Unity, where now you can have like more than 500 SBS AR file in the scene, so which wasn't the case before. So once again, we try to we want to stay up to date, and even if there is a lot of release, we are also putting a lot of effort to make sure that the plugins works with the latest version. Sometimes there is a delay, but that's something that we have to deal with, because no one will stop the production. So they do the production, and we adapt if needed. What else? Something. As I say, we want to improve the workflow. And one of these is, for example, here you are going to see an icon that you may have not seen, this one, which is a connector. This is something we are working on. What we want is, of course, to improve the interoperability between our tools. And for example, you can directly send the material from Substance 3D Sampler to Painter or Stager, for example, which is great. But we want to make sure you can do this with the maximum of application. And here you see an example where we do this with Unreal Engine from Sampler. But the idea is way bigger than that. What we have a project which is called a Substance Connector. And the idea is to build a framework that will allow to transport data between from or to Substance 3D applications to any other application which is in the system. Right now, the idea is to make sure that it works with everything, that it's data agnostic, which means that you are not stuck at some point to send or receive data. Right now, we make it work with Maya, Blender, Unity, Unreal, and 3ds Max. These are the first one, but the idea is to support everything that we can support, and to make sure we can do this, we are going to make this open source. It's not the case right now because we have to test it, stabilize, etc. But when we'll have a strong foundation, we'll make it open source. And the advantage is, anyone or any company or personal being will be able to look at this, and if they have the code scheme, to build their own connection to the process. I think this is great, and once again, the idea is really, as you see, I have talked a lot about open source because this is very important, and all this interoperability is key in 3D. And sometimes if you try to make something on your side, it's way harder to share with the other applications. So that's why we want to create the connector, and also we have like 80 plus integration right now, which is a lot, of course. And sometimes you have like a really small niche products which would benefit from Substance 3D integration, but on our side, we cannot justify to make it because once again, we have a lot to maintain. So this way, this is any developer will be able to do it. So that's the idea we want to do. So I have a question from Koa and Gwen. Oh, wow, cool. Can we modify folder path of the material when export from ASA to Unreal? Right now, it's a prototype, so I'm pretty sure that it will be able, and once again, it will be open source. So it means that you will be able to look at the code, and if you have to change because you need a specific destination, that's something that you should be able to do without any problem. That will be interesting and pretty exciting. It's not there yet because once again, we first want to make it work smoothly between this application, and once we have this base, we go to open source, and then let's go to the jungle. Everyone will be able to do that. So obviously the advantages is empower creative professional to work seamlessly across Substance 3D and third-party applications. That's exactly what it is. Once again, we want the transportation to be as smooth as possible. We make some effort on the content, meaning that, for example, with Open Alliance for USD and Open PBR, which is like try to find and to define some standards with the whole industry, not us alone on our side. This is important, and I'm really glad because right now everyone is on it. Everyone understands the necessity of this, and I would say that 10 years ago that was discussion which was harder because any company was okay. No, I will keep my technology, so this way I'm sure people are keeping inside. But I think right now everyone understands that we try to be the best everywhere, like the competition, but it's really important not to close the workflow because that's not what user wants. And also decrease overhead of transferring data. Well, that's the reason. Both are linked, of course, but once again, the idea is that I have a material in Designer and I want to send it to Maya, and I want to be as easy and quick as possible, ideally one click, and that's the idea. Now, let's talk about the application. So how did we organize the presentation of application? It will be crescendo, which means that from the more we'll go further and the more you will see that there is news. I think we order it this way. So of course there is many things in each one of them, but you are going to see that at the end I'm going to present Substance 3D Modeler, and this is insane. It's good teasing, this one. So Designer. So first of all, we are going to recap a bit what we did before GDC, mostly in 2023. And one of the key points, if you are a user, is we added the splines and path nodes, which is a series of 24 or 25 nodes, which allows you to create and populate path and create splines and path and populate them the way you want. And it allows you to create crazy stuff. And I was playing like recently to make like auto stitches depending on the mask. Once again, the sky is the limit. So if you don't know that yet, I may make a small tutorials when I have sometimes. But right now on the Substance 3D YouTube channel, Louise Melin made 2 great tutorials which explain how splines and paths works. So go and watch it. This is super great. What else? We made also some quality of life stuff, especially the new portal nodes, which allows you to, create portals. And what is a portal? Well, this is exactly this. This is an entry point and a receiver, which allows to hide some part of the links between nodes. Why? Because when you have big graphs, sometimes you had like some links going everywhere around. It was a bit the mess. And we used to call this a spaghetti graph, which is well, a nice name, but it was a bit weird sometimes to see to organize within this. So with the portals, something a long time request. So now we have that, and it worked great. Another one, which is great, also which came in 2023. Maybe beginning of 2024. It's the frame improvement. So now if you hold Shift while moving a node, which is within a frame, well, it will fit the content it will adjust the size of the frame. And you also have a right click on the frame bar to fit the content to the size. So these are just quality of life stuff that people were asking for a long time. We try to do some more like this, yeah, this one is great. Now let's see what's coming in 2024. So before we start, I want to say that we are talking right now. We are not presenting everything, of course. I know there is many content which is coming as nodes, which are going to be features, but as they are still in development, we prefer not to show them right now. But we are going to talk a bit about the architecture, and mostly first the viewport, because we are going to, oh no, not the viewport, sorry. First well, both. The USD lossless support. So we talked about the USD format, and one of the strong integration that we're going to make is you are going to be able to import a USD scene data directly within Substance 3D Designer and access any material which is on it. So you can not only access them, modify them, but it will be non-destructive because the USD format has the ability to store like modification layers, we can say. So if you have to go back in the history of your material, for example, you can go. But this is really important because generally it was a bit tricky to work on an asset because you had to work on each material one by one. It will still be one by one, but it will be super easy to jump from one to the other and to tweak it in real time and to have the result in context. So I think it will make sense for many artists, especially, I may be wrong, but I think especially in the VFX industry, that's something that will be super cool. And the fact that it's non-destructive really adds something else. Also, this will be the first, I think the first, if I'm not wrong, at least one of the first of integrating the new hybrid renderer. So the renderer in Designer was a bit old, to say the least, and it's our first main application. And as we have this new renderer that we are working on, it will be integrated in Designer with a full scene visualization. To summarize, it will be way faster and way more beautiful with transparency, shadows. Once again, it will be way more enjoyable to work with in Substance 3D Designer and to visualize your materials. So once again, this is a structural change, but really important, especially to build on top of this in the future. And we'll have also, as I said, new features not coming within the year. Another great stuff, I don't know if you know Material X. I could put this in the family of the Alliance for USD OpenPBR. Material X is also a definition of a material transportation format, which can contain not only the texturing information, if we want, but most importantly, the shading information, which means that a shader is made to interpret the texturing information to display it. If you know, we have MDL support, for example, from NVIDIA. This is a bit the same spirit, although Material X can contain way more things, and it's already used in the VFX industry. So, for example, if you work in automotive and you have a complex shader with 2 or 3 layers, for example, you have like a coating, you have a sparkling, etc. That's some aspects you could decide to define within Material X. And of course, it will work also with SBS AR. So you can define the texture necessary that works with the shader, and you will be able to define everything. And that's great because before, if you wanted to work with Material X, there wasn't any visual way to do it. You have to code. So I think it will bring a lot. Looking at the chat, Leo is here. He says, love Material X. Any idea when it's going to be available on Designer? So if you look top left, we say 2024. So should come this year. If we don't have, we can be late, huh? But it's at least we scheduled this for this year. And generally, when we publicly announced it, is that we are confident. Still, there could be some problem. We don't know. It's production. But within this year, it should be fine. And yes, I'm curious. I really hope people will like it. And I'm really curious how people... I played at the time with the MDL, which was strong. It allows to do many things. I didn't play with the prototype of this, but I can't wait because it's promising. Now, let's go to Painter. Painter 2023 first was a huge year. For example, I think the biggest, or at least the one which make the most noise on Buzz, good Buzz feature was the path tool, which allows you to build a path, to draw a path, and to populate it with whatever brush and material settings. And the great thing, of course, is that you can edit and tweak everything at any time, whether it's the path, the brush, on the material. And this is huge because it means that, for example, if you had to make a stitch before, you really have to make the stitch perfectly. If it does not work, you have to do it again, to paint it again, etc. Or if there is a change in the design and you have to modify and change the position, you had to redo it again. With the 3D path, it really changed everything. So this is beneficial for any industry, and everyone was really happy. And there is one which was even more happy was the fashion design industry, because they have lots of, for example, zipper to do like stitches like this one. Oh, you don't see like this one. So they are super happy. And if you work in fashion and you don't know this feature, you should really give a shot because it makes your life way easier. And it also came with a stitch tool made by my friend and colleague Guillaume Meyer. He made a super stitch tool that if you work on character or fashion or clothes, take a look because it makes your life a breeze. What else did we do in 2023? We did something quality of life as well, which seems easy, natural, but I think it seems easy and natural because the dev team did it well, which is the drag and drop. So if you are old enough in Substance Painter, like I would say old enough is less than a year, you know that before, in order to use resources like material, substance material or texture, you had first to drag and drop it in the shelf and then place it wherever you want in the UI. This was a bit painful. I mean, there was, let's say, one drag and drop which may be too much. So we decided to simplify it, but the team went beyond this because now you can take whatever resources from outside and place it directly wherever you need it in the UI, in the properties. But you can also drag and drop directly on the layer stack. And if you put it, for example, you can take a filter and place it directly on the material or the mask. If there is no mask, it will create one for you. So this is great. And this is something I will do. You see, you can hold Alt and to replace the content as well. So this is really quality of life. It saves lots of click. And once again, this will be the topic for a small video because even me, which is used to Substance Painter, last time I was using a linear gradient tool, and the old way to do it, that I was still doing, was to say, okay, creating a black mask, add a generator, drag and drop the generator, look for the generator, linear gradient, and place it, which are 3-4 steps. Right now, I just have to look in the shape for the linear gradient, and I drag and drop it on my mask on the layer I want, and boom, it works. So it's super fast, and revise your workflow because you can do it way faster than before right now. Let's continue. So sneak peek 2024, what's coming for Painter? First of all, a bit technical but super interesting. The Python API will now allow you to control the layers, which is great. Before you were able to control many stuff, but not the layer stack. Now you can. And for example, here we build a small tech example which allows to randomize each layers in a group. So this is great. And for example, if you use a material and you want to quickly make some variations, we will be able to do this. And way more, of course, we have to think about adding, removing stuff in the layer stack. So this may be a bit technical, but I'm pretty sure there is some brains out there who will create some great feature for it. Also, something which is great is now we are going to have Substance 3D asset directly within Substance 3D Painter. Before, what you had to do is to go either on the website or Creative Cloud Desktop, browse your material, choose it, export it, sometimes import it back to Painter. So it was a bit breaking the flow. Now you will have direct access within Substance 3D Painter. So once again, quality of life, and I think people will appreciate because it will save a lot of time. And we may have some other announcement about this within the year. A bit of teasing. Another one, this one is more, I wouldn't say quality of life, but it was missing before, to be honest. We will have native font support, which means that the font which are installed on your workstation will be directly accessible within Substance 3D Painter. Once again, before it was a bit a hack, it wasn't supported, so what we had to do, it's either using the 5 or 6 fonts that were present, or to go to Substance Designer, create a node with a text node, you choose the font, you send that to Painter. That was a mess, honestly, and this will be a story of the past really soon because you will be able to use it like that. So this is great for everyone. I would say that it will be something that a graphic designer who wants to work a bit in 3D will love, because we know that fonts are super important for them. So we are super happy to have that. And once again, sometimes we make some big, huge feature like the 3D Pass, but this kind of stuff will save a lot of time, and that's why we call this quality of life feature. And you will be able to use the Comic Sans font, of course, because that's the favorite of everyone. Let's continue. There is one which is not here. I don't know why it's not here, but I want to say it. We are going to support Illustrator file directly within Substance 3D Painter. So we already supported vector files, which is great, but there is an advantage with Illustrator files. First, they keep the quality, whatever the scale you choose, which is great, but they also come with artboards, which allows, if you have, for example, an artboard with 4, 5, 6, whatever number of variations, you can have it here. So you can drag and drop the Illustrator file, and you will have a drop-down menu to choose which part of the artboard you want to be displayed. So once again, that will save lots of time. If you have like a collection of stickers, a collection of logos, well, you will be able to gather everything on one artboard in Illustrator, and then get everything directly within Substance 3D Painter. Sorry, this is great, super cool. Tell me, don't hesitate in the chat to tell me which feature you like so far, what you are really waiting for. We have some for you, so don't hesitate. Substance 3D Asset, we are making it short, but once again, Substance 3D Asset right now, I think it's the biggest 3D library online, whether for material or model or lighting. So we are still making... oh, I didn't move it, okay. Still making it grow about the time. Here we have a new stylized filter. Honestly, I would have on the other presentation, I changed the location because this is a sampler feature, which is great, but I don't know why it's you can use it with Substance 3D Asset materials, but not only. What it does, it allows to, well, take a realistic material, for example, and give it a stylized look, like you can see here. Super cool. Depending of the if you need it for a specific style on a specific project, it works pretty well, and it will be within Sampler. This is from Substance 3D Asset. We have made an eye generator. I don't know if it's there yet or if it will come soon. But now, if you need eyes, this one should cover like 90% of your needs, I would say. And I'm really happy with this one because I remember before to work at Algorithmic, I made a tutorial about how. This was one of my first tutorial about how to make an eye within Substance 3D Designer, and it was animated like this. It wasn't as good as this, but still it's close to my heart. So that's cool. So yeah, coming soon to Substance 3D Asset. Also, new through scan materials. We always add more, and as you know, we don't choose between scan material, procedural material. What counts for us is that you have the quality you need, and we always try to add parameters on top of the scan material so they look great and they are still editables to fit your needs. That's really important for us. 3D models as well. We have a lot. They are optimized for games, so it's not just a 3D scan or something like that. They're really pretty optimized, and you will see at the end that you may have a new usage for. I don't know if you are already using some models from Substance 3D Asset. They are great, especially if you need to have to build a scene and to put some elements in the background, for example, to fill your scene. That's great. And as I told you, just a small teasing, but at the end, I'm going to show another way to use Substance 3D Asset models. Sampler. So we announced some big things with Sampler. Before that, let's see what we have done. We have done within. In 2023. So talking about AI, we revamped and rebuilt our image to material filter, which allows to take an image and to, whether it's a picture or it comes from something else, and to convert it into a material. So we made this, it's way more robust, the results are great. It's trained on a Substance 3D Asset material that we do have. So once again, you are safe to use it commercially, no risk here. And I think it's a great usage of how AI can help you in your process. If you have the picture reference, you can directly start from this to build a material, and then if you need, improve it within Substance 3D Painter. We also build a new material up resolution, which allows to upscale a picture, but not making, let's say, stupid upscale. It not only upscale, but it reconstructs the necessary details so it looks right, whatever the resolution. You can go up to 4K, so this is great. And something that came, I think it's not the latest version, but the one before, we added the ability to use procedural noises and pattern on single channels, and also pattern in general without being procedural or not. But it allows you, this was something that in Sampler you were able to play with material, but generally it was the whole channels in general. Here now you can add way more variations, ideas, and tweak, because you can apply this per channel. If there is the slot in a filter or in a material, you can apply it this way, and it gives this kind of great result. For example, here you have a custom roughness, and yeah, you can do more this way. You can do more within Substance 3D Sampler and get closer to the result you want, if not the final result directly. Finally, we announced, I think. It's not our first AI feature, because there is image to material, but it's the one which works with the Adobe Firefly model and it's a text to texture feature, which allows to, well, build a texture, an image based on a prompt. So this is great, and rather than talking too much about it, I'm going to show. I think it's better. So let's see, here I have the version. This is the beta version. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to access that So you go to Creative Cloud, sorry, it's my French version, you go to application here, and when you go, so generally application, you will be there, and you go to beta apps, beta application here, and here you have the list of all the Adobe application, and you can download Sampler, Modeler, you also have Stager, if I'm not wrong, somewhere here. Just here. So yeah, download them, Sampler, and actually Modeler, we are going to talk about it, but that's how you do. And once you have done that, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to start with the fabric. I made that online and it worked well. So let me just change the viewer settings and take something like that. And here I moved it here. By default, I'm going to hide it. It's here. Generative beta, you open it. I'm going to move that here again so you see it. And you can choose the type. Right now, as it's a beta, you just have the texture, but soon you will have also to make patterns. And actually, it already works with pattern, and I'm going to start with that. But it will be more precise for pattern. So I will say, for example, Art Nouveau, fabric pattern. With I put birds and butterfly. I change every time I do, so it will take a bit of time, but we'll talk meanwhile. And butterfly, it will be blue, orange, and gold color. And I will put stylized. We stylized, and let's see how it goes. I don't know, generate. So what it does not create the material for you. It just creates images where you can start from. And this, I like this because, especially the integration in Sampler, because this is really in the spirit of Sampler, which is to blend resources, which means I'm going to start with this image, and from this, I'm going to do some more stuff. So, okay, I have some here. Seems beautiful. So here I have this image. What I will do in my case, I can drag and drop and create a material, but that's not what I will do in that case, because I want to use it differently in my project. So I'm going to look for a fabric here. Let's see. I'm going to take the denim, putting here. Going to adjust, let's keep the color. And what I like to do, so here I have my material, I have all the maps necessary, and now let's choose one of these. And by default, by the way, the tile. So I'm going to put it, and by default, you won't see anything. Why? Because it's in the layer stack, but it's not assigned to anyone. By default, it's assigned to the scan one channel, which does not contribute to the render here, but it's there. So what I can do is to use a channel switch, and here the channel switch, well, it let me move the information from one channel to another. So what I'm going to do is to move the information which is contained in scan one within the base color. So base color as output is already set. I'm going here to scroll down and make scan one, and now I have my material like that, which works great. What I can do, maybe can come here, and I'm just going to change the blending mode to, I like to change to overlay, so we see what's below. A bit too strong, the denim, so I will just desaturate a bit the color to get something like that. And you see that really quickly I have a material like this. And what I like to do just for fun is to put myself here. Maybe I'm going to desaturate even more. Like that. What I did a video which was pretty great. You can, for example, animate. If I hold Control, I can animate this like that. Beautiful. So this is an example. You see it works great. And once again, the goal is to really give you another way to to generate content in order to make your to start making your material. I could have gone outside or find a picture, but it depends. Sometimes to start making my material. But in that case, for example, I didn't have this kind of pattern. This is also a great way to work with an art director. For example, if sometimes they come with ideas, but they are verbalized idea, and sometimes you have to try to be on the same page visually. So that's a great way to say, okay, let's make some iteration and see how it goes. I didn't put some unicorns. If Kelly is watching that, she won't be happy because she always wants some unicorns. Let's make another example quickly. I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to put a plane and let's make a ground. So I'm going here to change that. And I'm going to put a desert sandy ground. And let's go. So I'm generate, once again, it takes a bit of time. But this is super great to start your project, to give you some ideas, to showcase, once again, for the communication within the team. I think it's key. Sometimes you are working like 3 hours on something and you show to your art director or your lead and say, oh, you know what, that's not at all what I want. Here you can have a really great starting point. Let's see. Let's try this one. Don't know how it goes. In that case, I'm going to make an image to material directly. So from this, it will generate a material. So it will take a bit of time. Generally, the image to material, the new one, is a bit slower compared. I hope it will not slow down. Yeah, it may slow down a bit if there is some lags. Okay. Have this. It's not that bad by default. I may increase, you can go here, large details, like that, and diminish the medium. Then, well, you can start with that and play with whatever you want. You can have some dirt on top of this, I don't know, or dust. Let's see how it goes. Dirt does not seem to see. Yeah, there is. Dust may be better, or water, for example. Going to diminish the level of the water, something like that, for example, to get a muddy water. And once again, this is just a start for your project. So that's how it works. You just type the text you want. Just going to put that back. Oops, like this, for example. You can type the text you want, and it will generate a version for you. So great to start project, to get your base, and then you can build on top of that. So let's close that for now. I don't save. So this is text to texture within Substance 3D Sampler. This is great. You can already test it in the beta version. I really invite you to test it because you can make crazy things. Now, Substance 3D Modeler, which is huge. The new version and also the beta version are huge. So first news, now you can use for free the beta version of Substance 3D Modeler. We just added, and this is great. I'm not a good modeler. I am intermediate, let's say. And to me, it was always something where I had like hard time starting modeling. I don't know why. I'm more into materials, but mostly I had hard time because even if I'm a technical guy, sometimes there was some technical constraint just to be able to start sculpting or do some modeling. With Modeler, I would say it's extremely simple to start and you get really quickly great result. We're going to start with a small video that we presented at GDC, so I'm going to put my face here. This is made by Gio Nakpil and Casimir Perez, who sculpted everything here within Modeler, and obviously it's painted within Substance 3D Painter. And I think, I'm not sure where we make the render. I don't want to say anything stupid. I don't think it's Stager. Maybe it may be Blender because Casimir is a huge Blender user. But we had the assets on the booth at GDC to showcase to people. And once again, this is a great tool. So first we are going to showcase, the new stuff. So first we made a new warp tool, which is way more intuitive and allows you really to move and you see to continue warping, whatever it is. If you don't know Modeler, what you have to know is that this application works either on your workstation on PC right now, but coming on Mac, or in VR. If you have an Oculus, for example, you can use it to sculpt in VR, which is great, especially if you are, sorry, let's drink a bit. If you are a good sculptor, I'm not, you have the feeling of having the asset in front of you, and the fact that you can use your hand, it means that you can do, for example, like some warping and rotation at the same time, which can give great result. Personally, I'm focusing on the desktop version because I don't have good hands and I have lots of fun with it. I made a pencil like this one. I made a video. I explain how I made it if you want to see on my channel. And so I had a comment which was great. I made a speed sculpting and I said, wow, it look easy when you make it. And I say yes, but because it is honestly, once again, it's in beta, it's free. If you are into modeling, whatever your level, I really invite you to try it, to give us some feedback and about how you feel about it. And this is great. And I think within 2 weeks, in 15 days, I may make the introduction to Substance 3D Modeler desktop, so you get to know how it works. But this is an amazing tool. What else? We made some surfacing tools. So once you have made your shape, sometimes you want to play with the surface which is already sculpted. So we made a new pinch tool which is way smoother. We add also some surfacing tool to make the surface a bit plainy, and to give also this as Lydia Choi, who is the product manager of it, say buttery effect, so it works well. And also we have a new brush right now. The brush is not new, but the feature is quite new, which is the build-up tool, which allows you to quickly apply, deform the mesh, but by using texture as well. So we'll see an example in a few seconds, like this one. Here you can add this kind of details, for example, or this one, for example. And what you have to retain here is actually one of the technology underneath Modeler is called SDF, Sign Distance Field, which is a voxel. What it means for you is that you don't manipulate polygons, but you manipulate the volume itself. And it makes a huge difference in the way of working because you can add, subtract, warp, pull the model, and you don't have to think, oh, but here I don't have enough definition, I don't have enough faces, or I have to add some edge loop. You don't have these issues. While you are within Modeler, you are just playing with volume, and this is so natural and almost, it's awesome, honestly. And then after you can redo the topology. I think we are going to see that after. No, not this one. Something that was missing until now was the camera. We didn't have any camera, so you were able to work, but something that people asked is to have the ability to import to create cameras, and also to choose the perspective if you want to be in perspective mode or in orthographic. You can choose the field of view. So right now you have way more control. We noticed that many people like to make a small render directly within Substance 3D Designer. Here we are in VR mode, and you can once again, I think, switch from a camera to another one, which is great. It allows you to gain some stuff. You can make your render. You can add some depth of field to get some cool effect like this one, for example. I think it's pretty cool. Mr. G say Substance Modeler is voxel. Yes, it's exactly sign distance field, but yes, that's what it is. And of course, when you after that, I think we see it here, you can export and retopologize it. So it makes an extremely good job of topology. I'm going to put pause because we are going to see that. So this is the model. You choose your poly count. Here we are in Maya. And look, this is what we have. So if you work in video game, you may say, no, I want to make kit by hand because I want to optimize to death, and you're right to do that. But in most of the case, if you want a decent poly count and a great quality, I can assure you that the automatic topology that we have makes a great job. And we compared a bit with what is already existing in the market, and yeah, it's one of the best, if not the best, that I have seen. So you can rely on this, and if you work even if you work from video game, you can think of starting from this and just cleaning it, and you can get pretty great results. Now let's go in Painter. Let's make some baking, and this, I think it's Casimir who make a small painting within Painter of it. So it's super nice. Finally, this one is in Stager, Final Render. So yeah, once again, right now it's free in beta. So try it, give us some feedback, and yeah, make yourself a present and try it, because if you are, I can assure you that this is extremely refreshing in the modeling space. Mr. J, sorry, say awesome. I train modeler. Then maybe it can compete with ZBrush. I don't know. I would say it works. I think it can compete. It depends what you do with it. ZBrush is great. No problem with it. I would say that first, one of the key points with Modeler is that it's way more accessible. I know that many people didn't even try ZBrush because the UI is way more complex. Here, I really invite you to try and give us the feedback, because ZBrush is a great tool as well. We don't have any, we are really great with the ZBrush team, but yeah, try it and tell us what you think, because yeah, to me, for example, I'm able to do more things as a beginner intermediate modeler. I'm feeling better with modeler. So that's, but once again, don't take my word. I work for the company, so of course I may not be the most objective, but it's free once again. So try it, and you will tell me what you think. This one, sneak peek of what's coming. It's not yet in the beta, but this one is huge. It's you can build non-destructive primitives. I don't even know the official name for that, but that's crazy, because you can use shape not only to add volume, but also to subtract, to cut, to slice your object, to warp your object, just with shape like that. And you can iterate on the shape. So for artists like me, who has a really bad sense of proportions, for example, this is awesome, because it means that you can start placing, for example, I made a game controller a few times ago. If you look on my, I think you can watch it on my Instagram, if I'm not wrong, I'm not even sure. And I was placing the two parts, external part, and I have to do it 4 or 5 times to have the good distance between both sides. And I had to delete, remake. And here, the good thing is you can just place them, adjust, and you can adjust at your will. So this is crazy. And that's why also we put it in beta, because simply we have like some crazy developers which are extremely good and who are able to do stuff like that. And we have two choices. Either we say, oh, okay, do we wait because it's new and we want the official version to be stable, because it's used for production as well. And we say, yes, but we want people to try that. So that's why we made this beta, and we made it free, because first we want people to try it and to give us feedback and tell us what they think about the tool. We want people to discover this tool, because once again, to me, it's one of the most refreshing tool I have used like in the last 10 years, I would say. Easily. So, and once again, I may not be objective, so that's why don't take my word. Download it, it's free. Another thing is, once you have played with all these shapes primitive, you still have the option after to like convert it to clay like this one and start sculpting. Obviously, you won't be able to tweak it anymore, but that's an option. You can decide to sculpt to convert it to clay and to sculpt on top of it. Then I think so. Public beta, experiment, research. Try it. You will love it. If you don't love it, contact me. If you are blocked, if there are some stuff which are not clear as well, don't hesitate to come and ask me. I will be happy. There are great tutorials as well on our YouTube channel. I really invite you to do it because at first this is a new way to work in 3D, honestly. And at first it's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm not sure. I don't know where I have to look. But this is like a 10-minute gap so you get how it works. It's great. And the next slide, I won't show it because I'm going. This is the one of the best feature ever. I'm going to show it live, and then we'll see this. So this is Substance 3D Modeler Beta. So here I am. And so this is the beta. We have some new feature, and we have one which is great, which is, if you go here, it's called Asset Library, and there is something called Search by Shape. And if you are here since the beginning of this live stream, I told you about Substance 3D Asset that there may be a new way to use it that you will like. So let's see that. What I can do here is so this is my tool to start sculpting or adding volume, clay, whatever you want to name it. I'm going to choose this shape. I'm going to make a rotation. First, I like a lot this kind of widget, you know, we separated. That's one of my favorite stuff. And I'm going to make something like that. And in order to apply the clay, because right now it's just a, let's say a brush, a stump, a tool, whatever you want to name it. So if I do spacebar, I will apply the clay, and look what's going on here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have to do match selection. And look, it proposed me some object from Substance 3D Asset, which are close enough to the shape. What it means is now if I say, you know what, I'm clicking on that, look, it replaces, and I directly have the object here. Object that I can decide after to sculpt. I can go here and say like that, for example, and say I want to change a bit the stuff. Let's add I'm going to warp it just to show you. You see, you can start it. So this is crazy. Yeah. Mr. JC, try. Yes, I believe that that's Adobe's greatest strength. I agree. For 3D modeler. It's modern UI and connectivity with other apps. Can I download the beta? Yes, you can download the beta. It's free for everyone. No, I don't think it's AI power. This one is just I don't know. I don't want to say anything stupid on this one. But basically, it looks at the shape, and it's able to adapt it. So let's say I'm going to continue a bit, for example, just to play. I'm going to do that. If I do this, I do spacebar again, and I have a live shape matching. So it will directly, I don't have to say match selection, it does it for me. So it proposed me earrings, etc. But I want to do a bicycle. And as I am a great artist, I'm going to make a great bicycle. You will see holding spacebar. Check. I'm going here. Check. This is the best bicycle ever. And here it doesn't seem to find so far. So if you are lost, I can also go here and say bicycle. Like that. Oops, sorry, did I type it wrong? Yeah. Like that. Oh, why? For some reason this one does not work. Did I have a bug? Let's remove that. Oh, okay, here we go. It's here. So let's take that and now replace. And I have my bicycle, and I can still match on that if I'm not wrong. What I can do as well, for example, let's make another one. I'm going to make a chair. So let's make something bigger. I'm going to put this like that. I can do spacebar, rotation. I hope you appreciate my sculpting skills. This is very important. I'm going to do that like that. I can use symmetry, so just doing once. And you see that the shape is like adapting at the same time, and we should be able to see some chair. Okay, so I have my chairs, you see, I can choose, and a cool thing is I can replace the shape, or I can decide to hide. So if I'm not sure yet what I want, I can click on add, and now if I do click, I have a chair here. I can select this again, I will take another chair like this one, etc. Like that, like that. I can choose. I'm going to put another one because, you know, if there are just two, they are going maybe to fight. I don't know. Let's take this one like that. And I'm going to remove that. And finally, I'm going just to make like another one. So like this one. To do this, let's put it like that. So spacebar, and you propose me, and now what I will do is something like that. Let's do this a bit bigger, just making a table, trying to make a table. Let's see if there is a bar table. Spacebar. Seems to be like a table. Not sure it is. Let's say it is. So I can remove that now. And now they can take a coffee if they want around the table. So once again, this is not, this can be either a starting point or a way to populate a scene. If you have a huge scene and you need to make like some chairs on a table in the background, that could be a great way to use it. So this is insane. In my opinion, that's crazy what you can do. And once again, everything, you can sculpt everything after that. No problem. So let's close that. Okay, I think it's doing an advanced search for modeler model library. Maybe we'll ask the question to the team. But yeah, I think it look at the shape, and the thing is we have like an army of people, of researchers that make research on many different topics, so that maybe without being AI, you know, they can make some search by this. I don't know, I'm not sure, but still, this is impressive. So here, another example, just quickly, I wanted to make it. Here you just draw, you see. And I think you make a bench or, yeah, something like that. Okay, now so far. So once you have that, you can choose different. You can refine by filtering. Here, for example, you can add some elements. So I'm pretty sure for people who likes to do kit bashing, that will be your next shop stop because it works pretty great. You can add elements. My hope in the future also is that, I don't know if it's plain or not, is that is to be able to add your own library of assets if you have some that you have made, if you have some kit bash stuff. But still, look here, you can choose, change everything. This is, I don't know what you think, tell me in the chat, but to me this is huge because it's like Modeler becomes not only a super modeling and sculpting tool, but the perfect tool to make kit bashing a reality. So we may also, now we have what we call a smart appraise. So sometimes if you want to get some more definition, to add some details, sometimes you're already sculpting some stuff, but at low resolution. What does the smart appraise? It will once again upscale increase the resolution, but it will try to preserve the detail, the fine details, and to guess the fine details. For example, here, it will make sure that the lines will become smooth, and it won't keep the jag that it has before because it didn't have enough resolution. We already made something like we changed the algorithm. It was great, and this should be even better. Still in R&D, this one, but really promising. Also, this one is really alpha. I would say it's not in at all. We want to add the ability to play with physics directly within Substance 3D Modeler. It would make sense. So this is like a programming example that works great. You know, it shows that you can move stuff and meshes, shapes can interact together. And when I see that, I think about a live stream I made with Emily Bisset, who made a super nice purse, which comes with a chain, a long chain that to hold the bag. And it was like small chains like that. And I asked her, wow, how did you do that? She said, well, I had to place them one by one to make it properly. So if she would have that, it would have been way easier. So yeah, can't wait to have something like this. We already have some physics like this within Substance 3D Stager. And I think it makes people loves it, and I think it makes even not more sense, but it makes sense also to have it within Substance 3D Modeler. Also, maybe you have followed last year that we removed from Substance 3D Designer the ability to create procedural models because, well, to be honest, there wasn't a lot of traction. But that doesn't mean that we say that we don't want to do it anyway, because we had other plans as well. And one of them is we have a tool internally. I won't give the name, but which allows us to build some procedural shapes like these ones. I don't know if this tool will be publicly released one day. There is no plan for now, but this is a great tool. And it allows you to do shapes like that with parameters, so which is great. And we said, okay, we internally can build some brushes, some shapes like this that can be used within Substance 3D Modeler, like this one, for example, to do this kind of string that you can adjust. So yeah, I don't know if that's something that would interest you. Just pray, everyone say, we want that, we want that. But the fact that you can use it, for example, in Modeler, make your own procedural shapes with parameter, I think it's great. So it's coming. At least the shapes are coming. The tool, there is no plans for now. The future will decide. Once again, to go to the public, to get access to this, you go to Creative Cloud Desktop. You just need for the modeler, it's free. So even if you just need an Adobe account to get access to Creative Cloud. But if you don't have any other tool, that's fine. You can still use it. And we want you to use it, and we want you to give feedback about what you like, what seems weird to you. But I'm pretty sure, like most of you will find it pretty refreshing, and you will have a lot of fun. It's guaranteed. If not, write me on my account. I think. Oh, okay. Another one. Mac. Actually, we are working to port Substance 3D Modeler to Mac. So it will be supported. So this is a screenshot. It's not photoshopped at all. It's just the screenshot of where we are right now with Substance 3D Modeler in Mac. And we are super proud of the version. It starts to work well. Of course, it's lots of work because to port a full system like this one on another architecture, it's a huge job. But we are really happy because Apple made a lot of progress in 3D with the M2 and M3 processor. I am myself a PC user. I'm not really a Mac user. But if you have asked me like 2 or 3 years ago, okay, I want to make 3D, what should I buy? I wouldn't have said a Mac. And even a Mac user who would have been in 3D would have said, yes, no, it doesn't compare to PC. Right now, the debate is over. Mac are extremely good at managing 3D scene, and really M2 and M3 are. It makes a huge difference. So if you are a Mac user and want to go and want to make 3D, or you are making 3D, don't say, "Oh, I cannot handle." If you want to make a new Mac, it will run smoothly and with great performances. Mr. J say, I think the parameter shapes are powered by Substance Designer. No. I know Designer can do that. No, you know that Designer could do that in the past. The option to create this has been removed because there was not a lot of users on it list. So we had to make some choices, and we say Designer is made to make material, maybe shaders, but everything that is defining the surface, the material of an object. We said, okay, if we have to do procedural modeling one day, it won't be into Substance Designer, because from experience, we have it like for a bit more than a year, and we didn't have that much users. So that's a tough decision we took, but we assume it. And as you see, it's not something that we forget completely, because you have seen some example, but this is not done in Substance 3D Designer. Finally, if you just a small QR code, if you are on Behance, I'm really inviting you to follow us, especially because we do a lot of articles about 3D Substance. We do interviews, we do some tutorials as well. So that's something to follow. If you don't know Behance, this is like maybe the biggest community online for art in general. Not only 3D, but art, graphic design, architecture, etc. So you can do that. Mr. J say, talking about the fact that procedural modeling does not exist anymore in Designer. I agree. As well, Designer should just focus on textures. I would say textures on material in general, and shader maybe. Every surfacing, let's say surfaces in general. I find it weird when designers started to do procedural modeling, like in Houdini. It is an entirely different beast. Yes, that's true. That's true. And also, we want to make sure our team can focus on what they do, and that was a decision. Yeah, it was a tough one. I was starting to play with it, and it was stopped not long enough after. But I think the decision makes sense, definitely. We are reaching the end of this. So before to stop, I want to talk with you a bit. So I hope you have some questions. Once again, we have seen lots of stuff coming. USD, for example, USD, new viewport renderer within Substance 3D Designer that will spread around in Painter, Illustrator support. Python API. What else did we see? We see some other stuff. Yeah, also the text, and mostly also for the big ones, I would say in Sampler, the text to image. I know I had received a lot of questions, lots of enthusiasm. I actually made a post on LinkedIn, and that's my biggest post ever. I received like tons of likes or reshare. That was crazy. I didn't expect that. Also on Modeler, once again, which for me, that's crazy what you can do. I really hope that there was like 10 to 15 people watching. So I really hope that 10 to 15 people, the thing they're going to do just after is to download Modeler, because it's great. Once again, in 15 weeks, I hope I will make an introduction to the desktop version of Modeler, which is great and complete. It's not... there is not one which is better than the other. It's just two ways to work, and you can actually work at the same time. There are many artists, what they do is they put the headset, start sculpting this way, and there are some stuff they prefer to do it on the desktop. They remove, and bam, it's directly on the desktop. So it's not one or the other. It can be one and the other, or just one or just the other. You choose. I don't see any question in the chat. I think everything was clear. I don't know how many delay. Anyway, I think we are good to go. Okay, so this is the end of this live stream, a news live stream. I hope you like the format as well, that you think it's useful. I have, I think, Mr. J who says Substance really is going to get bigger. These updates really are so good. Thanks a lot. I've seen my updates and it doesn't compare to this. Kudos to the R&D team. Yeah, we have a really great R&D team and even the dev teams. All the dev team, the people that are passionate. If you're interested, I'm thinking about inviting teams one by one. I've done this with Substance Really Asset like last year. I may do some stuff. I will continue also to do interviews this year. So I try to mix the content like news, interviews, tutorials, etc. Tell me what you think, if you like this, if you prefer something over something. I don't know if you want if you want a bit of everything, that's fine for me. Next week, within 2 weeks, should be Modeler. I think it's time because I made all the introduction to all the software except Modeler. So let's do it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you liked it. Don't hesitate to share if people have some doubts or some question about what's going on in the future for Substance 3D. I hope I summarized everything. Thanks again and see you in 15 days. Ciao.